Welcome back to the MadSpideyverse. I'm MadSpidey. Thank you for tuning into my channel. So before I get into what episode we're doing today, I'd just like to say a massive thank you to all my friends, fans, supporters, subscribers, all of you for nominating me and getting me to finalist for the Comic Book Community Awards again. Obviously I joke and I say always the bridesmaid, never the bride. Yes, I'm nominated. I'm a finalist in the Best Statue Unboxing Review category again. This is my 4th year, I think, ever since its inception. So yes, thank you very much. I am nominated for, I think, Best Live Stream as well. That's a bit stiffer competition. I don't think I'll be winning that. But yeah, I'd love to be able to win the Best Statue Review Unboxing thing, just so I can say I've won one finally. But yeah, thank you to everybody who voted for me. I greatly appreciate it. It's very, very humbling. And because there's a lot of channels out there that are way bigger and better and everything at this sort of stuff than what I am, but I'm just showing you what I love, what I have. And yeah, it's just, it's very humbling, as I said. But obviously you've worked it out. We'll get on to the episode. This episode is one of my statue review, my statue collection videos, whatever number episode it is. It'll be in the title anyway. I'm sort of losing count at this point in time. But yeah, all my statues are all Bowen Designs. Now, if you don't know who Bowen Designs is, just briefly, they're basically one of the premier companies that arose in around the sort of mid to late 90s to sort of 2000 or probably the 2000s, I'd say late 2000s, because or even 2010s. But they had the Marvel license at the time, and this is way before sort of Sideshow and ABC, PCS, 1, 2, 3, and all the 50 million other bloody companies that there are now. But they were very predominant back in that time. I knew a lot of people that collected them. They did 3 ranges. They did a mini bust, a mini statue, and a full-size statue. I basically tried to get them all, and that's a lot of money and a lot of time and a lot of space, and I did accumulate quite a lot. So in each episode I highlight one piece that I have and share it with you guys. So but I've noticed I have done quite a few mini busts as of late. It's generally, and as I've said, a lot of this stuff is in storage, so it's like just sort of trying to dig out the next closest thing, and there tends to be a lot of the mini busts because I do have a lot more than those because they're a lot more affordable. But there is a lot of full size in there as well, and I have dug one out. Now, the other thing of note is that I've mentioned before, and I usually mention it in the description, but I don't necessarily mention it on the video itself. Bowen basically did a lot of deep diving. When you go and check out, as I said, like Sideshow and all the 50 million other companies that are out there, they generally do the mainstay characters. So they'll do Spider-Man and Iron Man, Captain America and Wolverine and Hulk and like all your A-lister type characters. Occasionally they'll deep dive a little bit, maybe to your sort of your B-listers. But Bowen, especially in their minibus, but sometimes in the full size as well, they did deep dive, go to your B-lister, C-lister, D-lister, like villains that have only, appeared 3 times in comics altogether sort of thing. So it was actually really cool. And you did actually learn about some characters I didn't even know existed, basically. So I'd classify this one as maybe a B or a C-list sort of character. Some people may never have heard of this character. Most people probably have, but not the most recognizable character, let's say. But it is, if you are a West Coast Avengers fan, or even to a certain extent New Warriors fan. I know Mikey Syrup Mr. Beckerman himself, he does not watch my statue videos, but yeah, if he does, he knows Tigra. So yeah, as I said, not necessarily the most well known of heroes or characters, but still a very cool character, indeed. Now, obviously, being a Bowen Designs, the trademark grey box, which the majority of them had. With the full size, they don't do any kind of sort of synopsis or biography of the character. They will have on the side, though, the sculpt details of who actually sculpted the prototype and then physical size and things like that. If there's quite often different versions released at the same time, they will quite often put sort of the different pictures on the sides, or they'll designate it with like a big sort of gold sticker saying modern version or classic version or Fantastic Four suit, or, you know, something in that sort of lines. So obviously the other thing of note is generally when you look at the bottom, there is usually a little white sticker saying the edition number. Now, in this case, it is not there. So one of two things can happen right now as I open it up. It will either be the good one or it'll be the bad one. The bad one is that the sticker's been lost, and that's part of the collective, you know, the collectivity is the word I was trying to look for of it. Or the good one is it may be an artist proof, which means it's an even rarer item. Now, obviously, opening it up with the foam inside, it will generally have the up or the Bowen Design symbol on top, so you don't obviously pick it up and it all drops out and breaks. Yeah. All right. Now, we'll pull out the base first. Now, the other thing of note, ooh, this one's a little extra special. So the thing of note is, and I've mentioned this with all the range, doesn't matter whether it's mini bust, mini or full-size statue, as they went up in phases, so as they got to the later stages of, you know, bringing out things, the bases, the figures and that got a lot more complex, got a lot more sort of detailed and things like that. This one's probably in that sort of aspect. So you can sort of see there's a bit of a, almost looks like a turtle shell, but I'd say that's sort of like a rocky, mossy sort of, you know, like almost like a jungle sort of style base, but with the very detailed, like tiger heads or cat heads, whichever you'd like to call them. Now, as I was saying, this one is the good one. So this is the extra special bit. So the statue alone was only done as a run of 800 worldwide. So 800 is very, very small for a run. Most of the time, when the full size, they'd usually be sort of, I'd say 2,000 to about 4,000 generally is a good sort of solid run. So anything under that, especially under 1,000, is a very small run. So 800 is very tiny. It is an artist proof. So artist proof, they generally will only make a handful of. Sometimes it's only sort of 2 or 3. Sometimes it may be sort of 10. Artist proof is generally done as a, that's the first production, first mold. Yep, they're all good. We like them. We'll mark them as an artist proof, whether they keep them, sell them, or whichever. But the other thing of note is it's actually initialed or signed by Randy Bowen, the man himself, who actually did Bowen Designs. So artist proof, low print run, and signed. So that's actually pretty good. I never chased the artist proof. I never chased the signed stuff. It was more just a factor of if I got one, I got one. So let's get her out. All right. So hang on, I'll just put that base down there. So quite a lot of detail, especially with the stripes, the hair, and also the sort of the teeth, sort of arm bracelets, and almost like a waist belt. But yeah, very, very, very nice, very, very detailed, a little bit cheeky, but there's nothing wrong with that. So we'll connect it to the base. All right, so that's her on the base. There is one more piece. And I've got to be a little bit extra careful with this, because sometimes when it's very thin, you're like, oh, that's a weird sort of like bracelet or something like that. But no, that's actually her tail. So I'm assuming it should just pop in like so. So it actually curling around. But that is the statue in all its glory. Tigra full-size statue by Bowen Designs. And yeah, very, very, very nice sort of statue. Not too big and cumbersome. So, you know, obviously, and that's probably the one good thing about Bowen is they did have a lot of range that were, you know, like if you didn't have much space and you wanted something nice, you know, a lot of people just went for the minibus, but a lot of the full-size statues were actually reasonably sized. So you could probably have just like one shelf, and you could probably have, you know, half a dozen or a dozen of the full-size statues on display. So, it, you know, like everybody would love to be able to afford, you know, those ginormous, like, you know, 3 feet tall, you know, premium, you know, sideshow ones and things like that, or the big XM studios statues and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, that's a lot of money and a lot of space. But yeah, obviously if you got the money, you got the space, that's good. But you know, if you don't, then collect how you you know, you want to, sort of thing, and collect for your space, I suppose. But yeah, that'll do for this particular video. Thank you so much for watching. If you stuck through all my waffling all the way to the end, please don't forget, I will be putting the link to the Comic Book Community Awards, so CBCAs. If you have not done your finalist voting, please consider voting for me. I would greatly, greatly appreciate it. But most of all, do all the usual YouTube stuff. Hit the thumbs up on the way out. Leave a comment if you want to. And hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. That would be super awesome. But anyway, hope you enjoy the rest of your day. And Spidey out.